Why do American men need to manually sign up for the military as part of the selective services? As a general rule, each of the 50 states knows the identities of all the male children born there, and the federal government may know that information from the assigned social security number or other databases, but there's no single, perfect list of every adult male citizen, and especially not their current addresses. Part of it is avoiding signing up American citizens who died before age 18 or who left the country and renounced their citizenship, or whatever. Part of it is also getting affirmative involvement from the man himself, so that if they later prosecute him for draft dodging or other issues, they can say he knew what his obligations were and he signed the forms. And not have him be able to say, I didn't know I was signed up for the draft, I didn't know they were trying to contact me to serve. Part of it is just that the government's information systems are a sucky patchwork, and redundancy is wasteful, but helpful if the unexpected happens. Databases can be incomplete. It's really tough for a government to know where a particular citizen lives unless they ask that citizen. We don't. Also, the US government does not in fact necessarily know all that about us. More importantly, when is it going to be required of women? When I was 17 or 18, and it came time to sign up for selective service, I drew a big dick and balls on my application with a speech bubble coming out of the shaft that said I am the shadow. I am now 37 and I do not regret my decision. It made my dad pretty mad too, so bonus. Because nobody cares to put a bunch of money into modernizing a system that doesn't matter and won't ever be used. Signing up for selective service is just in case there is ever a draft. The actual military is volunteer only. It's more for them to verify current addresses. A lot of states automatically register people who have a driver's license. It's a historical relic that nobody cares about enough to repeal. It's just a database from a time before the government knew everything about everyone. Refusing to sign up for selective service doesn't exempt you from the draft somehow. If there ever is a draft, whether you did the selective service sign up or not will be completely irrelevant. Well, once upon a time, the United States government once did not track births. Now they do. The registration for the draft was never about military service. The military would love to draft people, but mostly in their late 20s or 30s. They need more electricians, surgeons, and techs who can upgrade the firmware on that ancient weapon system. They are less gleeful about taking pissed off 19-year-olds who are not wanting to do the military thing. The system is run by the post office. The post office is trusted to be honest, with only a fair degree of competency. This leads to fun cases where BR birthday club members all got draft notes. The selective service is one of those things that wastes money every year, but not quite enough to spend political capital to cut the waste. The US government doesn't know that. There is no central database. The government is not as involved as you think. Because women don't have to. You know, equality and all that. I'd assume it's done manually automatically when a man applies for a driver's license or voter ID card because the government knows census data isn't 100 accurate. They were chasing me down for this for years. I think I was in Afghanistan on my second enlistment by the time my mom called them up and told them I joined the Corps at 17. Draft. Signing up for selective service theoretically indicates your willingness to accept conscription. That may sound like a trivial thing, but America has a long history of draft resistance. CO conscientious objection. You used to just get thrown in jail. Now people who are CO because of their religious confession, as an example, can file a CO case in the event of a draft. They would likely participate in a non-combatant role. We also have a long history of straight-up draft dodging, just disappearing to avoid conscription. The difference between that and a CO case is having grounds for objection and having the balls to stand up, declare it, file a CO case, and take the consequences. There is no good for anyone putting future CO and dodgers on the list. The problem there is that we have made selective service a requisite for certain types of federal aid, so the list likely doesn't represent what it might. Depends on the state. Some states have it automatically done. It's done whenever you get a driver's license or sign up for student aid. Wouldn't that be a little too close to conscription? I do what I want. I tore my papers up and tossed them in the trash once I tinted 18.